Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We want to spend some time this morning with you. My name's Kurt Purnell. I want to spend some time with you this morning to talk about selling smarter with our Salesforce Analytics solutions. With me today, I have a couple of my peers. Charter Rao, one of our solution engineers here with the analytics team here at Salesforce, and also Gene Zeiger from Atrium. Atrium is one of our top partners from an analytics standpoint, as well as the Salesforce platform as a whole. And I myself focus on Tableau CRM, one of the analytics solutions formerly known as Einstein Analytics at Salesforce, focused on ADP. So thank you again for joining us this morning. I'll kind of kick us off here with just an overview of what the agenda will be. So we're going to focus, as I mentioned, Tableau CRM, which again is used to be known as Einstein Analytics. We'll talk about some of the use cases, and we'll also focus in on personas. Personas around your district managers and general managers, sales teams as a whole. So you have your leadership as well as the individual contributors, and what it's like as a day in the life. What they'll be looking at within the solution, and then also how to how you can make your processes a lot more automated and easier. And then we'll also have a demo. Sharda will take us through a demo, which will give you some more insights on how your reps and relationship managers can run their business, how they can get those insights, those descriptive insights, as well as those predictive and prescriptive insights around predictions and how to take some next best actions and improve business outcomes. Then we'll talk about, I'll have Gene, after the demo, Gene will come on from Atrium. We'll give you a little bit more background on what they can bring to the table, how they can work with you and engage with you around your analytics strategy, or also potentially build out a statement of work or build something up for you to get you up and running quicker. And then I'll come back on and talk a little bit more about some other enablement options that you have, how to get started, and a lot of internal enablement tools that you have access to. And before I actually dive in to this screen, one other thing, please post any questions that you have. We'll have some time at the end for some Q&A. Please post any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll get to those at the end or follow up with you after the session. So I'll dive into just a little bit of an overview now of Tableau CRM. So Tableau CRM provides, it's that whole augmented analytics solution. So it provides the descriptive insights, so your business intelligence, what's happened in the past. It also provides to you predictions and prescriptions. So predictions of what might happen in the future, and as well as the prescriptions around those next steps to take, or those actions, recommended actions to take to improve business outcomes. And this, of course, is all central. It's all native to the Salesforce platform. So that's, of course, one of the key benefits. There's no swivel chair here. It's native to the platform. You can take actions directly within the platform. You can take bulk actions within the platform, whether it's emails or other activities that your teams are taking directly in the platform itself. So there's no movement back and forth. It also, of course, is going to provide those insights right there within the CRM. So, for example, there'll be some use cases that we speak to a little bit later. But with this, if, for example, you have potentially customers or business that might be at risk or risk of attrition, it'll provide some insights as to that potentially the business you have that's at risk, but also what are those actions that you can take, right? Tableau CRM will also provide to you, it's not a black box, it'll provide to you some insights as to also why that is and why that's happening, as well as the actions, recommended actions to take, whether it's, to follow up with the customer or provide them a certain offer. also, from a standpoint of the sales teams or your relationship managers, just being able to have that insight right there in the CRM, and then being able to take those actions right there in the CRM. So as we dive a little bit deeper, these lenses here on this screen really just kind of shows you, some examples of what we started discussing here, right? So if you're looking at certain notifications around what is going on, having that 360-degree view of your customer, so you have that single source of truth sensor based right within the platform, and being able to then have some actions that you might take, whether it's, as I said, a certain activity or call that you want to track, all based right in the CRM itself. You have the descriptive piece here of what has happened in the past, so you'll have the visualization of that right there for you within the platform itself. And then you can also see some predictions. So maybe it's predictions around win rate. And then also you can have some other predictions potentially to help your teams best set up their day, right? It's all about an intelligent experience for sales, and providing guidance and recommendations in context to winning more business, whether it's cross-selling opportunities, whether it's, like I said, being more proactive with your customers to retain your business or expand within your business. So it really just focuses in on providing, actionable insights for your relationships managers to take. So on this next slide here, we're just going to focus a little bit more on, some of the use cases that you'd be looking at. There are endless possibilities of what the customer can do with Tableau CRM. Here are just some examples as you go through the different life cycles that you have, whether it's acquiring the acquisition stage of your customer, and the sales process, if you're looking more at, how to expand within that customer, whether it's improving your time to close, where's the low-hanging fruit? Where should you prioritize? Where should you have your reps kind of prioritize their day? What's more likely to close? How to cross-sell? Which opportunities are more likely to be cross-sell opportunities? And then, of course, also reporting and having your sales leaders being able to look at, performance metrics, help coach their teams. Coaching is definitely a big use case for the sales side, and leadership being able to focus in on some of the top performing reps, and then also leveraging that those best practices for coaching for the wider teams. So really here, it's really just about, being able to, have focus on, where you can get, deeper knowledge around customer growth, potentially predict churn, as well as really managing your pipelines more effectively, and having those opportunities to coach, having those opportunities to focus and drill down on where you can cross-sell and expand within your customer base. So here, I just want to talk a little bit more about, what kind of sets us apart. So with Tableau CRM, as I mentioned, is native to the CRM. So as we already discussed, you can take those actions directly within the platform, and it's part of the business process and workflow. So it's optimized, of course, for the CRM users, from a data, insight, and actions perspective. It's intelligent. It basically helps you make those smarter decisions faster. It's transparent. It's going to show you some insights, and as you can see on the screen here to the right, where it has leading causes. So, it'll call out, Einstein will call out, what's likely, who's likely to reach their sales target, and then it'll give reasons why, right? So there's the transparency aspect there, and because Tableau CRM is connected, it's native to Salesforce. You get these insights, infused in every part of the business process, right? You can take actions, of course, as we mentioned, directly within the platform without ever leaving the page. So it's a complete analytics solution from a sense of, the augmented analytics where you have your business intelligence, you have your descriptive analytics, your predictive analytics, as well as your prescriptive analytics. And then, of course, also, you're able to scale, it's able to analyze billions of rows within seconds, and it's secure, within our Salesforce CRM system. So now I'm going to touch on, before we go into the demo, I'm going to touch briefly on a little bit more of the day in the life of a district manager or an individual contributor. So here's some key points that we would just like to call out, and you'll see this more in action when Sharda goes into her demo, but I'm just going to speak to, some of the points at a higher level. So here it's really about, being more proactive with your clients and how do you manage for that. So being able to find and prioritize the current clients you have and identifying where some of those likely cross-selling opportunities are. Also, looking at which clients are potentially at risk of attrition, right? And being more proactive and using Einstein or Tableau CRM to provide to you some actions that you can take. Maybe it's a simple call to the customer, maybe it's invite them to a certain upcoming event, maybe it's provide them a certain offer as some examples, right? And then, of course, it's also being able to have that 360-degree view of your client and have that clear visibility into your pipeline and being able to prioritize that pipeline. Which deals are more likely to close? And how do I shift, the minimum hours, the hours in a day that you have to make the most of them, right? And which one should I go after first? Which ones are more likely to close first? And so as we discussed, with the client attrition, it's really about being more proactive, having that single source of truth, getting some insights as to maybe certain activities that the client has recently acted upon. Maybe it's a certain action that they've taken or lack of action or lack of engagement that needs to be addressed with your relationship managers and district managers. It's also about giving, competitive advantage, right? How do you outperform the competition? Where is that white space? How do you expand into that white space? Identifying it, and also, how potentially you could look at personalization around your interactions with your client, whether it's a specific offer based on their profile or based on recent activities. And then, of course, it's also about enriching the relationship manager experience with their clients, and also just leveraging the CRM. So they get some smart alerts, they get notifications that are built, again, right into that workflow, right into the CRM system that they're using day to day, and enable them to better connect with their clients. So now I'll shift over to the other persona around more of the leadership, around general managers or sales leadership. And here, a couple of examples is, being able to help their teams better manage, their book of business. What's the velocity, for example, behind, their sales teams, and where are the gaps, that they're looking at to hit target for the next quarter, for the year, for the half. And then, of course, also being able to look at pipeline and help manage that pipeline at various levels through the hierarchy, right? Being able to drill down into their reps, and if they're a second or third line manager, being able to look at all of their management levels as well as their teams below. So just really being able to analyze that pipeline, identify where the gaps potentially are, and being able to be more proactive and help manage that. The other key thing here really is around, from a leadership standpoint, is being able to be more proactive with their coaching, right? So we kind of touched on this briefly earlier, where you might be looking at, some of your top performing reps, and then how to best leverage, their best practices and push that out to the rest of the team, right? Just being able to help drive performance of your other district managers, and also, an easier way to kind of track performance across the board. There are a lot of customers that use Tableau CRM from the standpoint of a coaching app, for example, and how to best leverage, again, best practices, whether it's folks on their teams or, best practices that the leadership wants to push out to their teams. So with that, I'm just about to wrap, and we'll soon go into the demo. But the last thing I wanted to touch on in this opening section is really just, as part of, we have a lot of solution accelerators or fast start templates, if you will, to get you ramped up. So whether your use case is focused around sales, and sales analytics, or any of these things that we have listed here, smarter dashboards, it's all about helping you get time to value and up and running as quickly as possible. So we do have a lot of these fast start templates that will help you get to where you're going and up and running quicker. So with that, I'm going to turn over to my peer, Sharda Rao, who's going to take you into a demo. And Gene, if you want to transition us, I'm sorry, Michael, if you want to transition us, please do. Sharda?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm not a presenter, so I'm going to share my screen. In the meantime, if anyone has any questions, please post it on chat. But can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So good morning, everyone. I'm Sharda Rao, and I'm a solution engineer with Salesforce Analytics. And today I'm going to walk you through the day in the life of a sales rep and a sales manager who lives and breathes in Salesforce. So as Kurt pointed out, the TCRM Analytics product is meant for users who live and breathe in Salesforce, and that seamless experience that it provides to the end users, eliminating the swivel chair effect of going into any other system to access their data by surfacing all that information in the platform itself. So what you're seeing here is, as a sales rep, when I log in, I'm seeing a dashboard about my sales performance presented to me. Now, data for this dashboard is not necessarily from Salesforce. So if you see here, I have the NPS score for my clients, which is coming from a different system. So the power of TCRM is the ability to take Salesforce data, to directly ingest external data, bring it into the analytics cloud, combine it, and surface it here, so that your end users really don't have to go to any other system to get their data. And one other thing I want to point out here is that as a sales rep, when I'm logging in, I'm only going to see my data. So the row level security, the hierarchy, all that is automatically ingested from Salesforce. So as a manager, when a manager logs in, they would see data for themselves as well as their the people from their team. And it goes up. If a regional director logs in, they will see data for all their managers under them. So that seamless development as well as that experience is what TCRM brings to the table. And over and above that, apart from providing what happened, why something happened, you will see that through the business process, there is intelligence infused so that we provide guided selling experience to your end users. So I can see here my pipeline, my closed one, my open cases, the trends, how they are looking, and I could look at my pipeline by the different stages. If I want to look at it by forecast, all I have to do is click on forecast. If I want to look at it from predicted to more days, like from now to 90 days to 180 days, I can do that right here. And I call that faceting. So as your users are selecting, you will see that the data is changing. And if I want to see the details about all the opportunities I have based on the selections that I've made, I have that information right here, which gets updated. So without even leaving my screen, I'm right here logging in. I can see my pipeline. I can slice and dice the data by the different stages. And then I have this intelligence right here. So I can see my top pipeline opportunities by the deal size and what the predicted days to close is. Now, in this case, it's predicted days to close, but we could also put in opportunity win rate, so propensity for that opportunity to close. So there are multiple use cases you could use to provide that intelligence right here. And now I want to look at this particular opportunity because this seems to be greater than average close date, and I really want to see why. So I can action on it. So the action is not just opening a record, but I could log a call. I could send an email to the client right from here or make an update to the opportunity. So if I'm having a one-on-one with my manager and I want to update the opportunity close date or any field in the opportunity, I can do that right from the dashboard itself. So this really increases productivity for your end users. And these actions are all Salesforce actions that you can surface here, and it's possible because TCRM is native to the Salesforce platform. Now, if I open the record, I'm in the record page. Now, within the record page, I have context-specific insights embedded here. I can see everything I need to know about the account right here. So there's my open pipeline, meaning other opportunities I have or my other team members have with this particular account in case you're opportunity sharing. You can look at the cases, what current products that this customer already has with me, the NPS, and all the activities that have happened. So it's just a 360 experience that Kurt showed earlier, where you can see context-specific insights. So if I'm working on NI source, I don't even have to leave my Salesforce platform or my record page to get all that information that I need. And it's completely customizable. So depending on what you would like your sales reps to see, you can surface that information here. So this is just an example of what we think the sales rep would like to see in their record pages. Now, so that's all about the account, right? So I don't have to leave my screen. I have everything I need to know. However, I did see that the predicted close date is 68. So this is the intelligence telling me that the predicted close date for this particular opportunity is 68. Now, you might ask me, how did Einstein know that? So what Einstein does is it learns from your historical data. Looking at your won opportunities and lost opportunities historically, it's looking like at how long it is taking to close those opportunities, identifying patterns, and it will automatically detect the key predictors that are impacting this close date. And then it's coding your current opportunity records and telling you why. So our AI is not just a number, so it's transparent. So it is telling your end users what are the key predictors that are driving this state. And it's also telling you what you can do to improve that. So this is that guided intelligence I was talking about. So here it says that if you set up an interaction demo or an executive meeting, you can improve the close date and you can reduce it further. So as I go and select an executive meeting here and I save it, you will see that the model is getting updated real time. Now the model is saying you've reduced your close date and it's saying you don't have any other recommendations. So this is where AI is telling you what to do. And when your users are acting on it, the model is getting updated. And it also helps the feedback loop. If you want to analyze what actions the user took on the intelligence, whether they acted upon it or they didn't act upon it, and when they did, what happened to the outcome, all of that, we call that the feedback loop, is completely automated with TCRM because it's part of the platform. So you're democratizing your AI insights to your end users to act upon. Now, let me just, okay, take this. Now, so we looked at how we saw the sales dashboard here. I was able to go to a particular opportunity. I was given insights. I acted on it. But now as a sales rep, I want to know everything about my accounts, my total opportunities. So I can do that right here. I can look at my overview, my quota remaining, what's my closed one, what my pipeline is, what activities I'm performing. And here, these are the top deals and neglected opportunities. I haven't had any activity on these opportunities, and that's surfaced right here. Once again, using action framework, I can start working on these opportunities, calling on the clients, and so on. So insights are being brought to the end users to act on them instead of the end users trying to find out what are my opportunities, which opportunities have I not contacted, and so on. So these are insights brought to them at their fingertips. So you look at sales performance, I can look at accounts, and I have the ability to slice and dice the data. I can look at a single account and by industry and so on. So self-service BI completely in the hands of your end users. And we did talk about white spacing. So here you can start look at all your clients, what opportunities that they have, and you can identify what other products you could sell to them. And one thing I did want to show you is the trending. So here you could look at your pipeline, how your pipeline started at the beginning of the month, how did it move, and what's your ending pipeline. And this is so important because you can see how your pipeline has moved, how much is closed in one, am I generating new pipeline, and you can see all the details about just the pipeline right here. So this is from a sales rep perspective. So I could see the pipeline, what I need to focus on, where I can improve proactively to improve my close dates or win rates. And now as a manager, so if I'm a manager and I'm logging in, I'd like to see my entire team's view. So here I can slice and dice the data any which way I want, but here it's telling me about each of my reps, how they are doing. And as I select it, I can see how each rep is doing, whether they're meeting their quota. So when you're having your one-on-ones with the reps, then you can use this as a coaching tool. So you can see their performance, how many opportunities they have neglected. So depending on that, you can have your coaching with them. And same thing with trending. And let's look at white space here. So I'm looking at my entire team's white space. I could look at all the accounts in my team, what products that they have. And based on the selections that I've made, so let's say here I select a particular industry, and I have this list of opportunities and also these details here. I can actually create a campaign. So if I want to make an outreach for all the companies or all the opportunities that I have in that particular industry, I can create a campaign right from here. I can add follow-up tasks. So this is where that bulk action that Kurt mentioned can be surfaced. And this is piggybacking on Visual Force. So any action that you want to perform in Salesforce can be surfaced here, and it's extremely powerful and increases productivity of your sales reps, sales managers. And lastly, what I did want to show is how the sales managers can use this tool as coaching to see which rep is performing well in a certain area, which rep they're not. So here's what you can see. You can see all the team members, and I can view these metrics by closed one, by pipeline, whether they have enough pipeline, win rates, and so on. So right here, during my one-on-ones, I could use this information. And finally, we could look at the team's performance versus goal, as well as what the forecast or prediction is looking like. So Einstein Discovery is powering this. It is learning from your historical data and predicting your closed one based on the pipeline that you have, and it's telling you where each team member is versus their goal. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show here, Kurt. Any questions, feel free to put it on chat so we can answer them.
Thank you, Sharda. And so now we're going to move over to Gene Zeiger from Atrium. Michael, if you can move the ball over to Gene. And Gene's going to just speak a little bit more about, what Atrium can bring to the table and how they can help engage and help you get started.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Sharda, thank you. Excellent walkthrough. Kurt, are you able to see my screen okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So really appreciate everyone's time today. My name is Gene Zeiger. As Kurt said, I'm Customer Engagement Director with Atrium. We are a Platinum Salesforce partner. Our big focus is, and we are in many ways the go-to partner for artificial intelligence, machine learning, and analytics within Salesforce. And we work closely with the Salesforce team and our customers on implementation of Tableau CRM in the enterprise. And a little bit about us. We are located in Bozeman, Montana. We also have locations in Indianapolis and Jaipur, India, and we're probably one of the faster growing partners in the Salesforce ecosystem. So a little bit about our thought process and how we think about the evolution of what you all are seeing, and that is in some years back, CRMs and ERPs were really systems of record where we asked our teams to put data in, and that data was just a way to keep information within the company. Over time, Salesforce has become the system of engagement for organizations and was always at the forefront of allowing people to communicate in every way that they wanted to, from mobile to social to web to chat. But what we are seeing now is a significant move towards what we all are calling systems of intelligence. And that is the expectation by our sales teams, by our service teams, by other organizations who are leveraging our systems in general and CRM in specific for things like recommendations and automation and notifications and having insights that they can leverage to take action, and expectations of machine learning models and artificial intelligence embedded within the flow. So now that we have all of this amazing data that we've gathered about our sales cycles, about our forecasting process, why not leverage it to take action? So that is how we think about AI, analytics, and artificial intelligence role. So how do you get started with it? What's interesting is that getting started with AI and analytics in some ways is quite similar with how you get started with all capabilities and tools and things that you want to have in your quiver when you're selling. And that is, first you really have to set the vision. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What are the most critical questions that you need answered? Things like, how can I increase our customer base? How can I get to quota faster? How do we forecast in a more cohesive manner across our teams? Once you set the vision, you then really need to ensure that we have our business case set appropriately. And this is a critical step that a lot of people miss. We really want to make sure that we're adding tremendous value with the analytics and insights that we have. Next, and probably most important, we spend a lot of time in use case definition and prioritization, ensuring that we know exactly what is most important to the team and how we're going to implement those things in a timeline that makes a lot of sense for our sales team, for our organization. We then put that timeline to work, and we combine it closely with a resource plan that ensures success. And the resource plan, it's interesting. We're finding that the kinds of implementations that leverage analytics within the CRM require us as an organization to have a lot of different capabilities within one individual or one team, and that is people need to understand the sales process. People need to understand the CRM and how it's being leveraged. People need to understand the data underneath of that CRM and the data that they can bring in from other sources and other systems, so that we can bring them in a normalized, standardized way and add value with insights from multiple sources. So that skill set is becoming really critical to combine all of those capabilities into one team, or even sometimes single individual. And lastly, it's really key to have that target architecture focus, so that we know exactly what the solution needs to look like, so that it can scale over time. Because artificial intelligence and modeling requires a lot of understanding of data and historical data over time. And as you start leveraging it, the opportunities will just grow and build on themselves. So the way that we focus on that use case definition is we start with outcome definition, identifying the personas who are going to be our key users, and how will those personas need to take action on the insights that we provide. Once we have that well defined and well in hand, we then define the data sets and where the data is coming from, data sets and data sources, to ensure that we have all of the information necessary to support the both analytics and AI machine learning models that are going to be surfaced to the end user. So I'm going to turn it over to Kurt now to talk a little bit about how Salesforce can help and what resources are available from Salesforce.
Thank you, Gene, for that overview. And yeah, I'm going to go into just a little bit more about how we can help, as Gene mentioned. So there are various tools and resources that you can leverage. One thing that I'll start out with is, and Gene, can you see my screen okay?
No, not yet, Kurt.
Okay. Michael, are you able to move it back to me?
Yep, you are the presenter. You should have the...
Okay. Able to see my screen? No? Michael, actually, if you could leave it with Gene, and Gene can just put the slide back up. Seemed to be a little bit of a problem on my end.
Okay, it's back to Gene.
Okay. Gene, can you just have that last slide up to how we can help?
All set.
Great. Thanks, folks. All right. So just wanted to kind of go back into a couple ways that we can help. So there's a bunch of different resources. Trailhead is one. Trailhead is something that's open to anyone. You don't even have to be a customer of ours. We have trailheads that are specific to different areas. So we'll have trailheads focused in on analytics. And this is all about, self-learning, self-paced. You can access a lot of different focused trailheads, whether it's going to be around, more around the data, whether it's going to be more around building out dashboards, from the descriptive side of things, also ones that are going to focus more on the AI side of things or discovery, right? So there's a load of trailheads that can be leveraged. And again, they're going to be at your pace. Some might be shorter, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Some could be longer. Depends on which ones you decide to select. So again, this is something that's open to the public. And, we do have ones focused more specifically to the topic that we're speaking today around Tableau CRM and analytics as a whole. So there's a lot of good learning that can be leveraged there. The Academy trainings, so the next one we have here, the Academy trainings are going to be virtual. It's a virtual classroom setting. In the past, pre-COVID, obviously we have these in person. Right now, for the time being, they are virtual. They're essentially two-hour sessions, so a total of 4 hours. And there's going to be various topics here as well. So you can have more of an introductory type course, which will give you some overview of basic terms and more simplistic dashboards, a little bit more hands-on, right, with this academy, because you'll have an instructor kind of leading you through the coursework, but the basic Tableau CRM session, actually that first one is just a 2-hour academy. All the other ones are 4 hours over 2 days. And similar to what I mentioned with the trailheads, you're going to have various flavors, if you will, where you might be more focused on the data around the dashboards. You might be more focused on the AI side of things, or building out the recipes and the models. It's all focused on where you kind of want to go down. And then there's going to be one that's going to be more advanced dashboards to focus on. So in a nutshell, with these academies, it's an instructor-led course. With this, though, you do have to be an existing customer, and you do need to be nominated by your sales teams. So it's a process that we have schedules that are put out on a quarterly basis, and you have your representative nominate you, and then once you're accepted into that academy, you just confirm the registration. So if you need a little bit more flexibility, or let's say you have a larger group of folks that need to take a similar course, you can opt for the accelerator. So the next option there is going to be very similar to the academies, but these aren't open to the public. These are going to be specific to your organization. So the same idea would apply where you could have various different flavors that you want to focus on, whether it's dashboards or data, or advanced dashboards, or just a simple quick start of, I'm just getting these licenses, how do I work with them? And with the accelerators, the other difference between that and the academies is this can be focused on your schedule, right? Because these aren't scheduled until you reach out to set one up. And then you have an instructor similar to the academies that'll work with you, will kick off the event, learn a little bit more about your priorities, and then it's the same idea where you're going to have 4 hours, 2 days of 2-hour sessions, and then sometimes there's also a follow-up session after that is concluded. The next thing I'd like to talk about is Salesforce, the communities. So Tableau CRM communities, we have over 80,000 members there. The great thing about this is it's just made up of your peers, right? Being able to post questions, hey, how do you do X, Y, or Z, right? And getting some insights as to others who are going through the same process. And then, of course, also, sometimes you might be answering questions for others within the community. In the community, you also have experts from the Salesforce side, so it's going to be a combination of customers as well as, some of our experts, some of our product folks, some of our solution engineers. So it's a great resource just to, if you have a quick question or you want to quote unquote phone a friend and get their insights as to their experience, it's a great resource for that to get a quick answer. And again, it's there's over 80,000 folks in that community specific to Tableau CRM right now. And then, of course, the last item on this slide, as Gene Zeiger from Atrium just spoke to, what Atrium can bring to the table. They're a platinum partner of ours. We have a whole ecosystem of partners that you can leverage to help you get started. So everything from the trailheads, the academies, the accelerators, the Tableau CRM community, those items, are included. There's no charge for those items. If you do need additional help or want to have something built out for you, we then have, the option of engaging with one of our partners. And again, there are other things that the partners can bring to the table as well. If you don't necessarily need something to be built out for you, but maybe, you simply want someone looking over your shoulder or helping you with the analytics strategy, that's something that they can do as well. So we have a whole slew of resources available to you to help you get started and get you on your journey. So with that, Gene, you want to move us to our last slide? So with that, that's what we wanted to cover today. Thanks again, everyone, for your time and attendance. We did also want to let everyone know that, there is a workshop available that, we would be more than happy to set up for you with our internal team at Salesforce, as well as Gene and the Atrium team, where we can really drill down and help look at your different personas, review your priorities, and help create, a roadmap of how to get you to, your ideal end state. So please feel free to reach out to myself and Gene, and we'd be more than happy to set that up for you. Otherwise, please let us know if you have any questions in the chat. We'll wait for another minute or so. Otherwise, we'll also be having a representative from Salesforce reach out to you to follow up from today's session. So with that, thank you again for your attendance. We'll give it another minute or so if there are any questions. Otherwise, please have a great day, and thanks again for attending.